it felt like a very important moment, especially how the Osage community embraced us telling the story, gave us the trust in our adaptation of the novel, and to have them here with us side by side to tell such a personal tragedy to their entire community was a beautiful moment. And I just took a lot of mental pictures. It was something that I'm never going to forget.
We touched upon it after having myself and Eric Roth and all of us together trying to get the story expressed from the point of view of the Bureau of Investigation coming in. And I said, well, I think the audience is ahead of us. They know it's not a whodunit, it's who didn't do it. And at one point, this is after 2 years of working on the script, at one point Leo came to me and he was going to play Tom White. Was it Tom? I think that Jesse plays him. And he said to me, where's the heart of this story? And I had some meetings with the Osage and some dinners at Grey Horse and of course in Pahuska, and they got up and spoke. And I learned a lot about them in those 3 hours. I learned about the people themselves and the stories. They're all related to each other, and there's still relations and there's still issues, and so-and-so was in love. No, he wasn't. Yes, she was. No, and it goes on like that. And I said, well, there's the story. The story is in the character that the least is written about, Ernest. And of course, that's what Leo wanted to do. He said, let's try to find who Ernest is, or let's create Ernest as an example, or as a I use my words carefully, but as a template for that tragedy of love, trust, and betrayal of the indigenous people and the white. It just happened, you know. And so if we could really get in there and twist and turn the story around, and we knew we had, when we met Lily, we knew we had it, you see. And so that was the way to go. As far as taking risks at this age, what else can I do? What am I going to do? I don't know. What do they want me to do? I don't understand. Take a risk. No, let's go do something comfortable, like kitty. Comfortable, like sitting comfortable on a set in the heat. You might as well be risking. You know, I don't mean to be flip about it, but it is, you're right, it is a big gamble, but I don't know, we took a chance.
You know, I remember us talking very early on about what Marty does so incredibly well is he's able to expose the humanity of even some of the most twisted, sinister characters you can ever imagine. He brings out the human condition in his work. We saw a few Montgomery Clift films very early on.
Yeah, The Heiress.
The Heiress, Place in the Sun,
Yeah.
Red River, and I think the gamble was to take on this incredibly important story that really was a reckoning with our past. I mean, so much has been learned in the last few years, and this story has, much like the Tulsa massacre, has been something that people have started to learn about and started to understand as a part of our culture, as a part of our history. And it was really a throwback to great epic films of the 1940s that have at its center this very twisted, bizarre love story that we really worked very hard on. I mean, we almost went, after the screenplay, all of us, from almost an anthropological perspective, Marty was there every day. We were talking to the community, trying to hear the real stories and trying to incorporate the truth as best we possibly could. And no matter what people feel about the film, I know we all did that work and we tried our very best to pay respects to the real stories and incorporate that into the narrative.
Turning the lens, turning the big lens, the most golden lens into areas where our communities, you know, we're speaking of the 1920s, Osage community. We're talking about Black Wall Street in Tulsa. We're talking about a lot in our film, and why the hell does the world not know about these things? Our communities always have. It's so central to everything about how we understand our place in the world.
Well, the first thing when the book was presented to me and the script, I automatically understood. I said, well, if we go anywhere near indigenous nations, we have to be very, very respectful and try to, I gotta tell you, I mean, you just have a first meeting with Chief Standing Bear, and then you have another meeting, you have a dinner, and they say, they get up and they speak. The guys get up and speak, and they say a prayer, and there's a ritual, and I was so moved and so affected by that. By every time, even if any of you were lucky enough yesterday to hear Tali give a speech at the hotel, and this is what grounded me. And I knew what I heard, what their values are about love and respect and loving the earth. And I'm not talking about at this point of a political issue, but I'm talking about really understanding how to live on this planet. I found that the values were so important to me. And it reoriented me every time they spoke. It just reoriented me as to what we're doing here. And we're making a movie, yes, but what we're doing here on Earth. And so it seemed to lock in. Actually, we began a process. When I said to be very respectful, I wanted to know everything I could about the Osage. Everything, and it's overwhelming. Overwhelming. You can even go into part of their Montesquieu took some aspects of their organization, which later on the founding fathers based some of American the formation and Declaration of Independence, and it goes way back. And so all of this, the more I found out, the more I wanted to put in. So, and that began a process where Marianne Bauer, who's our associate producer and my archivist, began working with the Chief Standing Bear and the council and all the people the key people there and in Oklahoma, as to every detail of, and without making it fussy. It has to feel lived in, you know what I mean? It had to feel natural, you know. Even to the designs of the blankets and the people were standing in the background with vertical lines this way, horizontal that way, those colors, not those colors, everything we could think of. And that's why, to a certain extent, we begin with the pipe person. The pipe is a person, and it's got power. And now, that power is going to be, people don't know how to use that power, we have to bury it. It's not going to lose its power, I don't think. But the new ones are not going to know, because the whites have come in and changed everything. And so that pipe has to be buried in a beautiful ceremony.
I don't understand how my character, I don't understand a lot about him. It's like, I don't understand it. But, you know, people do things, he has to be charming, he has to win people over, he has to do things to get them. Why he betrays them in this way, I have no, all I can do is try my best to, he has an action and tension, goes from here to here to here, he does that with the people. And I think part of it with him, I guess, is sincere. It's just the other part where he's betraying them. There's a kind of a feeling of entitlement it's almost, I guess you could say it's, we became a lot more aware of after George Floyd with systemic racism. And so that's what it is. And lo and behold, what happened there that we never knew of while we were there was the Black Wall Street massacre, while we were shooting. It's the banality of evil. It's the thing that we have to watch out for. And we see it today, of course, with We all know who I'm going to talk about, but I won't say the name. Because that guy is stupid. Imagine if you're smart. Even Hale was smart in many ways, and so it's something that is systemic, and that's the scary part. But we see what that is, and there are people who think that he could do a good job. Imagine that. How insane that is. That's all I'll say. Yeah, we worked on it, and then I read the book when I was told about it, and would read it anyway, of course, and then then Leo and Marty told me that they were going to do it another way, more about the relationship of the uncle, Hale, my character, and Ernest, Leo's character. That made a lot of sense to me. And I said, whatever you do, great, I'm in, of course. And it is much better. The book is terrific the way it is.
Yeah, great book.
But what Leo and Marty wanted to steer it in is even more a better choice.
Well, without question, I can only speak from a personal perspective, having grown up watching the two of them from a cinematic perspective, how it not only influenced everything that I do as an actor, the incredibly high levels of artistry that they've been able to accomplish together in that relationship. Not only changed me, it was the template for me. It influenced the entire generation of actors that I grew up with. And what can I say is that Marty's perseverance and his ferocity in wanting to tell the truth about these stories, no matter how ugly, no matter how bizarre, no matter how uncomfortable, is his mastery. And his respect for cinema's history, what's been done before him, the influence of the great directors from his past that have made him the director that he is just unparalleled. He's been able to define himself as the singular director of our time.
Okay.